Have you fallen down the cottage industry rabbit hole yet? Well, if not, buckle up, Alice, and click on over to the description in the show notes and sign up. Then you can get ready for the most fun induction into the cult of all things yarn and fiber. This will include, but not limited to, free yarn, free ebooks, patterns, coupons, and much more. You don't want to miss out.
You are listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts, a podcast featuring two crafty besties who love true crime and a good cup of joe.
Hey, amateur sleuths. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Heidi.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hopefully, so I logged into Zoom, y'all, and mine updated, and the pictures are stacked instead of side by side. So I'm hoping it still records side by side, even though I'm looking at us stacked and Kristen's looking at us side by side.
We'll figure it out. It'll be what it is.
We will know at the end of this recording.
And if it's jacked up, well, enjoy.
That's just the way it's going to be from now on.
Not many people look at us anyway.
Yeah. I do want to give a little update on, because in our last two episodes, Kristen was so amazing and took my spot, and it helped so much because I couldn't even think straight. The stupid.
No, you were going through
tasks,
a lot. I know.
I couldn't even respond to people. I've never had that happen before.
It was a very, very difficult time.
Yeah, but we were super stressed out about the cost of the funeral because he couldn't have insurance or anything because pre-existing conditions, you can't really get life insurance.
Yeah.
Without paying a ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
We have such a fucking incredible community here. I've never had that kind of community before because in California, I just feel like that's not a thing.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not a thing.
There, no.
The funeral is almost completely paid for.
That's amazing.
By our community donating money.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
I am lifted off the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can just focus on healing and what we need to focus on.
Of course.
So be those people, be community people.
It's important.
Just don't be the pillar.
Really glad that, yeah.
Because if you're the pillar of the community, you're probably a serial killer.
Or just a dick.
That too.
Power goes to people's heads.
A little bit, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes.
So here we are.
Ooh, and boy, do I have a fucked up case for you.
I bet. I've been looking forward to hearing it.
The research keeps going. So as much as I want everybody to get a one-parter, this one really may or may not be 3 parts. So just prepare yourselves. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
No, because when we really get moving on some things, when we get more and more information, it's key points.
Yes,
so
you don't want to leave
hard
out
to slow
anything.
down. Yeah,
you don't want to leave out.
And
anything.
I think I'm just going to say, I think that in this last year or so of us doing this, I know for me, I've gotten better at writing and faster at writing, and I'm able to remember to put in more details and not just the blanket. Here's this shitbag.
Right.
We're starting to get a little bit more in depth, and I hope that our followers and listeners enjoy it because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. And we go off the rails, which, you know what? It's not for everybody, but for the people who like going off the rails, welcome.
Welcome. You are our people.
Yes. Yeah. So before we get into the case and all that, I've got this week's underrepresented missing person.
Good.
Trying to open it on the iPad and it does not really want to open.
Lovely. Technical difficulties. It's okay.
It's trying. Okay. So namus.gov, hallelujah for this website because it's like such a good database. Our missing person is Prem Kuar Prasad. I probably said that wrong, but
so
Prem
it's okay.
Kuar Prasad. Okay. I believe an Indian woman.
Sounds to be from India, the name at least.
Date of last contact was pretty recent, December 15th, 2022. She went missing from Marshfield, Missouri. 65 years old. 65, y'all. Ugh.
She just vanished, huh?
Yeah, the circumstances of the disappearance, it's believed she walked away from her residence.
I wonder, was there anything about possible dementia or
That's
Alzheimer's?
What I'm wondering. It does not say anything at all about that. She's only 5 feet tall and only weighs 95 pounds. So
little in stature.
I really hope she's okay. But with the way the weather has been, I don't know. Missouri gets tough. Missouri gets
a really blistery cold.
Well, and it gets a lot of flooding.
That too.
So I have no idea. This poor woman. She's got black hair. From the picture that I'm seeing here, it looks like she's got like bangs and longer hair pulled back in a ponytail, making it look short. But
okay.
I think it's pulled back in a ponytail.
Gotcha.
Black eyes. So really dark eyes, darker complexion, may have been wearing a dark colored heavy coat, but that's not confirmed. And there's no other confirmed information about her clothing. She is known to wear glasses.
Okay.
So, and that's all we got.
Yeah. So reach out to Nalis if you have anything.
And the link is in the description of this episode. So you can always just click the link.
Love it.
So I'm covering the Scorecard killer.
Interesting.
Yikes.
Sounds up my alley with the whole gaming thing. Interesting.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Which one is that?
Sorry, guys. I'm smelling the coffee beans. It's too late in the day for me to actually drink more coffee right now, so I'm just sniffing it.
Yeah, I opted for just some ice water in my little Halloween cup.
Yeah. So this I got at my local coffee shop, actually. They, like, every once in a while feature a coffee from a different roaster. And they always are very particular about choosing. And this is La Pyramide Tandem Coffee Roasters. Super cute.
No, I love that. Little tandem bike.
So
and
cute.
Yeah.
Anyway, these beans are freaking amazing.
I bet it smells good.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. It's cute. On the back, it says, we hear, like, the tastes of it. We hear that it tastes like red apple, cacao, sugarcane, these foolish things. It's so funny.
That's a good reference.
If you're local to this area, Forager rocks. You should go there. It's in Milford, Ohio, just so you're aware. But Tandem Coffee Roasters, there we go. Portland, Maine.
Nice.
So look them up because their beans are to die for.
My brother Ryan lived up there for a while.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, he really liked it up there.
Too bad.
I believe that's where he met his
Oh.
wife, my sister-in-law.
I think so.
I think it's where he met Freya.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Found a new thing I'm doing. And if you're on Instagram, you already saw.
Yeah, I think this is super cute. I love it.
It's hard to tell that that's a heart, but I started needle felting.
Yeah, so you use that crazy needle thing, right?
So
to
there's
push
different kinds.
where you want them to be.
There's different kinds of needles you use for needle felting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one where you put a bunch of needles in it. It holds like 8 needles.
Yeah.
And so that's for like not defined areas where you just have like a lot of coverage you need to do. And then you have a single needle one, and you can change out the thickness of needles. The gauge is different.
Right.
The single one I use for like the really defined parts, like the edging, when I want to like push it in because it's really fuzzy.
Right.
You just little tiny, you're just literally
like poking.
Repeatedly stabbing something. It's great.
I think that might be why I do the embroidery thread stitching on my paintings.
I think I'm going to get you one of these kits for your birthday. Because y'all,
birthday's coming up.
It's almost Kristen's birthday, guys.
Actually, this episode comes out on my birthday, I believe.
Shut up. Does it?
The 12th, right?
Is Thursday the 12th? Oh my God, y'all. Everybody, while you're listening, say happy birthday, Kristen. Anyway, I'm going to send you a needle felting kit for your birthday.
No.
Because I think you would really like it.
It looks really neat. And I've seen people do It came with little
finger leather finger thingies. So you don't.
I think I actually have a couple of those because of all of the sewing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anyway.
And by the way, speaking of sewing, when I was moving all that stuff I told you about, I opened up the drawers because this table is my grandma Carnahan's, and I opened the drawers and it smells like her.
Oh, Kristen, that's so sweet. Oh, yeah. Okay. Choke that down.
Sorry.
Oh, Grandma Carnahan was the bomb, dude.
She was excellent and a lovely, wonderful woman.
She taught Kristen how to quilt.
Yes, and my mom, and it's kind of been a thing we all try and do. My girls have done a lot of sewing, so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Got to keep those traditions alive, folks.
Fuck yeah.
It's important because what if everything just, all technology disappears and you got to sew a pair of pants? How are you going to do that if you can't even know how to put a button on pants?
What if you need a sweater made of wool?
Right?
I'm your girl.
Yeah. And I can make a pretty darn good apron.
Yeah, she can. Oh my God. One of my favorite aprons I've ever had. Kristen made. Anyway. So
we're digressing. We apologize.
We do that a lot.
Hopefully you appreciate our little personal banter.
It's what it's.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys are all our best friends now. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we digressed.
I'm going to do some artwork with the word digress.
You should.
And words are hard.
Don't be a shitbag.
You already know I have that idea in my head.
Okay. Scorecard killer. Trigger warnings. Yes. This guy was just kind of all around a complete piece of trash. Rape, severe torture, and I am going to include the details because it is pertinent to his MO.
Right. And that's why when I bring up the gritty details, it's because it's kind of necessary a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't want to totally squeamish everybody, but that's why we give the trigger warning.
It's going to happen. Murder and autopsy details.
Gotcha.
Just be warned, if you don't have a tough tummy, if you're squeamish about stuff, maybe skip this episode or just skip past those parts. I'll do my best to warn you ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay. Let me fold up this thing. All right. The scorecard killer. Randy Stephen Kraft.
Oh no, you can't have two first names in your name.
I did read that his birth name was Randolph.
Randolph.
Not Randall. Randolph.
Nice.
So Randy. Randy's such a funny name to me because, like, I'm feeling Randy. You know what I mean? Like, it's multiple meanings.
I didn't think of that one.
Why would you name your kid that? Anyway.
I didn't think of that one.
Randy Stephen Kraft was born in Long Beach, California. California. We know how to create these cereal guys.
We really do.
March 19th, 1945. Two parents. This is one of my favorite names in the whole wide world. Opal.
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
And Harold. And I really hope he went by Harry. Because it's his name. He was their only son, and he had 3 older sisters. Poor guy. But also, fuck him.
That's a lot.
The family had moved from Wyoming to California prior to his birth. So the rest of them were all from Wyoming.
Gotcha.
Just after the Americans entered into World War II. So Harold had
times.
Yeah, it's a little wild. Harold had found a job as an assembly line worker for Douglas Aircraft Company, and Opal worked several different jobs, ranging from seamstress to a cook. I mean, she just did it all because she was a bad bitch. That's what women did.
Yeah.
I mean, we still
I mean,
not much has changed.
Yeah.
They lived a modest life. Opal always managed to have time for her children, but their father was a completely different story. Harold never put in the effort and was described as distant by pretty much everyone. Randy's 3 older sisters and mom doted on him as a child, of course, because baby brother.
Yeah. Right. No, that goes.
Yeah. The Kraft family moved to Midway City in 1948. I have no clue where Midway City is. I should have looked it up. I think I did.
I'm not sure which one that is.
It's like in the other part of like LA area that I never went to. Inland stuff. I don't.
That inland stuff.
Yeah. Harold had renovated a women's Army Corps dormitory into a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
They were involved in the Westminster First Presbyterian Church, and Opal actually became the chairman of the Deacons Committee.
Oh, boy.
It's pretty amazing. Randy went to his local elementary school where it was noticed he was pretty intelligent. By 1957, at just 12 years old, Randy was actually sent to the junior high for accelerated classes. So
higher IQ.
He was in the GATE program before it was actually a thing.
Right.
Now we're into the teenage world.
Teenagers.
Nothing good can come from that.
No, I don't care for the teenage stages.
We were those once. You were a nice one, though. Kristen's always been really nice.
To a fault sometimes.
Yeah, it's a problem sometimes, but it's okay.
It's a mental disorder.
Okay. Teenage Randy Kraft got very into politics and was a staunch Republican with aspirations of becoming a fucking US senator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In high school, he and his 2 BFFs founded the Westminster World Affairs Club.
Ooh.
Very serious.
Big time. Very
Mhm.
serious. Big time.
Uh-huh. At this
Welcome to the big show.
Uh-huh. At this point in Randy's life, he was known to be a nice person, and he got straight A's. He dated girls, but many classmates and teachers did eventually state that they had had suspicions of Randy being gay. Of
Oh.
course, back then, being openly gay was not acceptable by most people, sadly. Like, even in California, yes, it was not
Yeah.
acceptable. It still
Right.
isn't to a lot of people there, which is fucking stupid. Anyway, Randy knew he was gay, but he kept that secret very hidden.
Mm.
Randy graduated 10th in his class of 390 students on June 13th, 1960.
I would have expected him to be in the top 3.
I know. But
10th is a little low for this guy of great brain.
I know. I didn't see how high his IQ was, but IQs are kind of,
Well, yeah, the tests are, I don't know.
I mean, the fact that I can still test high without having been in school for as many years as it's been is a little ridiculous. After high school, Randy attended Claremont Men's College in Claremont, California, not to be confused with Claremont in San Diego.
I was going to say, there's probably not the Claremont.
Multiples, and it's spelled different.
Isn't it CLAREMONT?
That's the one in LA, outside of LA, yeah.
Yeah.
The one in San Diego is CLAIR.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So this one is outside of LA. Shortly after beginning college, Randy enrolled in the Reserve Officers Training Corps. He also began attending rallies in support of the Vietnam American War. And rallies
of, okay. Interesting.
And rallies supporting Republican presidential candidate Barry Goldwater.
Ooh.
Never heard of him.
Never in my entire life.
Yes. So these activities were actually his last ditch effort at his parents' conservative ideology, of which he completely abandoned during his second year of college. This was also
he was open to other things,
and he was out of
ideas and out of the house. Yep.
This was also the same year Randy had his first homosexual relationship, which good on him, you know? Get it.
Oh, yeah.
Randy got a job as a bartender at a cocktail lounge in Garden Grove with a predominantly gay clientele. He was also known to frequent Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach to have casual sex with, quote, hustlers.
Because we took a trip to Garden Grove. Smells like...
Don't do it.
But you said Garden Grove. That's what comes to my mind first.
But it's going to get stuck in my head. And then I'm going to have to listen to it.
Well, that's all I do my whole life. I think of things that are song lyrics, and then I screw up everybody's day with giving them the song. It happened this morning with David. I forget the song, but he's like, all right, now we have to go listen to the song to get it out of my head.
Yep. Oh my gosh. During his college years, Randy regularly tried to come out to his family. This is actually kind of funny because he actually did try to come out to his family. And
sounds like it wasn't successful.
Bringing his, quote, friends home to meet them.
Oh.
But literally like bringing guys home to meet his family. But his family was like way too oblivious to actually see reality. And
right. And they were just thinking that they were friends.
Yeah. He just never came out straight up.
Buds.
They're
just hanging out.
Said the words, "I'm gay, Mom." And so they just, he's just my friend. Like, what? Yeah. Anyway. Get a clue, parents. In 1966, Randy was in Huntington Beach.
Oh.
He propositioned what he thought was a sex worker, but It turned out the guy was an undercover police officer.
Oh boy.
Randy was arrested and charged with lewd conduct, but he had no priors, so they actually let him go. Randy registered as a Democrat in 1967. He flipped sides.
Flipping the script.
He really flipped sides too. He went super, super, super liberal.
Okay.
And
not like mid-range. He just went all the way left.
He had very liberal views.
Yeah.
Randy became a Democratic Party organizer and campaigned for Robert F. Kennedy.
Oh.
He even received a personal letter from Kennedy thanking him. Unfortunately, by Randy's senior year in college, he was more interested in partying and gambling than doing schoolwork.
We all know how this turns out.
I mean, we've seen that happen. How many times?
Multiple. Like the smart people.
It happens.
Just ruin their college or high school life.
Yeah. Yeah, probably because they're bored. I mean, seriously.
I know, I get it, but get it done. Just get the certificate. Get the thing.
If you're going to go,
get the thing.
Yeah. So he actually ended up having to retake his economics. Econometrics.
Oh, econometrics
class, which I had never heard of before because y'all, I didn't go to college. I went to beauty college and Pilates college.
And she is beautiful and she will reform your ass until you hurt and cry.
Oh, I made people regret coming to class today. It was funny.
I bet you did.
So because of that, he actually delayed his graduation by 8 months. But whoop-de-doo. He did graduate, however.
No, so he did get the thing.
Yeah. In February of 1968 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics. Yeah. Makes you think, right?
Bachelor of Arts in economics.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting sounding.
Yeah, because I would think that would be a business or science degree, not a arts.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Shortly after graduating from college, Randy Kraft joined the U.S. Air Force.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's give him military training.
Yeah. During his time in the Air Force, Randy rose to the rank of Airman First Class and Supervisor Manager.
Supervisor Manager sounds very legit.
Yeah.
That's very professional.
So it was this same year, 1968, that 23-year-old Randy Kraft straight up came out to his family and just said, "Hey guys, I'm gay." And they finally heard him. And
I'm guessing it didn't
go well.
Yeah.
I mean, as I would expect, I've seen this happen before and it's not pretty. He says his dad flew into a rage. His mom disapproved, but was seemingly more understanding and wasn't.
Oh yeah, because she's mom. I mean,
she wasn't going to step past her kid.
All moms deep down.
But we've actually seen that happen with one of our friends. When he came out, his whole family fucking disowned him and they kicked him out. The only person that accepted him was his grandma.
Yeah.
And he moved in with grandma. So sad. Yeah. Oh my God. So sad.
Gotta go where the support is.
Yeah. His siblings have stated that he became more and more withdrawn from the family after this point, but I'm not really sure because he did eventually move into the family house again. But we'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
I mean, right now, basically. In 1969, he actually came out to his superiors in the Air Force. And you want to know what happened? You know what happened. He was discharged.
Discharged, yeah.
And they listed it officially as a medical discharge because you must have something wrong with you medically.
But it wasn't dishonorable, right? He was just...
Nope.
Okay.
Just a medical discharge.
That sounds gross.
It's one of those don't ask, don't tell.
I know, but medical discharge is
I know,
gross.
It's pretty gross. It's a really gross term. Why did I say that? Okay.
Sorry.
Shit. Okay. Well, apparently Randy didn't like that either because he talked to an attorney, but the Air Force absolutely refused to change the official discharge info.
But what did he want his discharge to be?
I think he
Or
just
did he
wanted
just
it to be
not-
like an honorable discharge, I guess. Or maybe he wanted to
Well-
stay in. I don't know.
Well, guess what?
Mhm.
Back then, it's not a thing. They're not going
No.
to keep you.
Mm-mm. Yeah, only until like the 2000s was that like a thing.
Like 10 years ago, I want to say.
It wasn't that long ago that it was
No.
finally an okay thing to be gay in the military.
Yeah.
Still, they probably are. They're not. Ugh. Oh my god. Anyway, okay. After his discharge from the military, Randy moved back into his parents' home and he found work again as a bartender. Now, he didn't end up staying back at his parents' house for very long.
Okay.
Let's see. Randy was
Probably because they're butted heads all the time.
well, that and he had things he wanted to do, I think, that he couldn't do there.
Right. Yes.
Like
I'm tracking.
what we're about to talk about.
Sure.
It's going to get bad, guys. Okay. Randy was hanging out at the beach in Huntington Beach. It was
Beautiful there.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It was sometime in March of 1970. He somehow met a 13-year-old kid named Joseph Fancher, who had run away from home. And Randy invited Joseph to come stay with him at his apartment. He even
Gotcha.
offered him sex with a woman he knew.
Interesting.
Pretty sure that woman didn't even exist.
Right? Just lured him.
Yeah. So, of course, Joseph, the 13-year-old, thought, this sounds fucking awesome, and agreed to go with him.
Right.
The two went to Randy's apartment in Belmont Shore. This was a decision Joseph came to regret. Very much so. Randy drugged him, beat him, and raped him repeatedly.
That escalated quickly.
This is his first victim.
Like, that's a lot for a first
Yes.
victim.
It's the first known victim.
Well, yeah.
We'll say that.
Right.
Hours later, Randy had to leave for work. Hours later. Hours of that shit. He left Joseph in his apartment alone.
Live, but probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Joseph
Joseph escaped, thankfully. And some random person saw this kid who's obviously like hurt.
Yeah.
And thankfully called an ambulance for him. Joseph ended up getting his stomach pumped to get the ingested drugs out.
Yeah.
While he was in the hospital, he informed the local Leos that Randy had drugged him and beaten him. He withheld the fact that he was raped because society obviously would have shamed him back then.
Right.
And this is all too common. Men do get raped. It happens.
Yeah.
They're sexually assaulted and they just don't report it because society is what it is.
I mean,
unfortunately.
It's embarrassing for a lot of sexual assaults go unreported.
It's fucked up.
Because it's just a difficult thing to tell people,
Yeah.
People feel embarrassed.
That's also to think like if the police had even believed him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times they would have been like, that can't happen. Back then, like they actually believed it wasn't possible. Like, really? So yeah, yes, you can get a boner even if you don't want to. It can happen.
Heidi laying down the science facts.
Fuck, people. Okay. So now here's the kicker that really got me fucking riled up.
Yeah.
Randy Kraft's roommate cooperated with the police.
Oh, he had a roommate?
Yes. letting them search the apartment without a warrant.
Well, back then, what kind of warrant type restrictions were they under? And did they have a law that said, like, because even if there is a private domain inside of the house, you can't go in there.
Yep.
Unless that person says that you can go in there. So
Yep.
you're saying that back then the roommate let him search the whole apartment.
That's what I'm guessing.
Mm.
Add to that, Joseph admitted, the 13-year-old, admitted that he had willingly taken the pills that were given to him. So no charges were filed against this rapist prick.
Wow.
Yeah. So Randy just got to keep living his best worst life.
Mm.
And he found a new job as a forklift operator in 1971. He had also enrolled at Long Beach State University. Yeah, he was apparently majoring in education, and this is where he met a man named Jeff Graves. He and Jeff began dating around this time. It was also around this time that it is believed that Randy began killing.
Oh.
The numbers of his suspected victims are staggering, to say the least. It is believed that Randy Kraft murdered at least 67 people. Some people would say closer to 100. In all between the years of 1971 and 1983.
It's a pretty good long stretch.
Yeah. Every one of his victims was male. Their ages ranged from 13 years old to 35 years old. And most of them did end up being in their late teens to mid 20s, though. Randy
ran to the younger person.
Randy had a type. He was eventually convicted of 16 of these murders, and a lot of his victims were in the Marines.
Okay.
Randy's MO was very apparent in these killings, as most of them were found to have high levels of not just alcohol, but also tranquilizers. This made it clear to investigators that these victims were unconscious when they would be raped, beaten, and then murdered, which is thankful. Unconscious. I would rather be unconscious.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
None of it's easy.
Yeah, at least like if you fucking survived that, oh my God, no thank you. That poor kid.
Yeah.
Jeez. Ugh. So later, they would find out exactly how Randy committed these most heinous murders, and Randy would offer his mark a ride or some alcohol.
Right. Because who wants to,
you want a ride, sweet thing? Like, except he wouldn't say that because, like, he didn't want to come across as being gay. He was probably just offering a ride, one dude to another dude.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, you want to ride? I'm going that direction anyway.
I'm going there.
It's that simple.
Why don't you hop in? Come on.
Or,
down.
hey, I got some freaking booze at my house. Yeah. So once his soon-to-be victim accepted and got in his car, he would give them alcohol and or drugs. Randy would then subdue his victim with bindings before torturing them in various ways. Trigger warning, it's about to get graphic. Fast forward if you need to. I'll go as fast as I can, but burning them with his car's cigarette lighter around their genitals, face, and chest. Blunt force trauma to their heads, including their faces. He would insert foreign objects into their rectums. And some of his victims he would castrate, mutilate, and even dismember. Randy raped and then killed his victims via strangulation, asphyxiation, bludgeoning, sometimes stabbing. Some just overdosed. He would sometimes bring them to his home before murdering them. Police actually found photographs proving this.
Interesting.
After murdering them, he would drop their bodies off near or on the side of freeways all over Southern California.
Oh, man.
Now, here is what absolutely made my head spin. Y'all. As if this one guy wasn't bad enough, there were 2 other active serial killers with similar MOs active, like during the same time.
Yeah. That's tough.
That's a lot. Like 3 of these fuckers killing people? Oh my God.
In similar manners.
Mm-hmm. Randy Kraft didn't just do this in California, though. He actually did kill a couple of people in Michigan and some in Oregon. As far as we know. We are going to start with his first suspected murder victim. This is not confirmed. It is suspected.
Okay.
A 30-year-old man named Wayne Joseph Duquette. Wayne was a bartender at a gay bar called The Stable in Sunset Beach. He was last seen alive on September 20th, 1971. His nude body was found on October 5th, 1971, near the Ortega Highway, which is California 74.
Right.
Unfortunately, his body had already begun decomposing and putrefaction had already begun. So that made it basically impossible to see any signs of foul play. And Wayne's cause of death was actually listed as acute alcohol poisoning.
Oh, okay.
Because they just couldn't find anything else.
Right. And they probably took the contents. So.
Mm-hmm. That said, the first entry in Randy Kraft's journal, aka Scorecard, and how he got his nickname, read Stable, the name of the bar.
Okay.
This made investigators think he was responsible for Wayne's death.
Right.
Over a year later, on December 24th, 1972, a 20-year-old Marine named Edward Daniel Moore was last seen leaving the Camp Pendleton barracks. Early in the morning, 2 days later, Edward's body was found in Seal Beach along the 405 freeway. His body showed signs that he had been pushed from a moving vehicle.
Oh, I'm done with you.
But also,
get out of here.
Are you having questions? Because I'm having questions.
Lots of questions.
We'll get there eventually. Maybe not in this episode, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
During autopsy, they found that he had, in fact, been bound by his wrists and ankles. He was beaten on his face with a blunt object and then garroted. And if you don't know what a garrote is, it's a method of ligature strangulation. Look it up. It's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, but it's using wire.
Highly effective. And it scares the shit out of me. Yeah. Edward's body had multiple bite wounds, and there was a sock that had been forced into his rectum.
It's odd.
He has a way that he does things. And we will see this repeated.
Weird.
Randy was escalating at a fucking quick pace now.
Yeah, I would say that he escalated very quickly.
He went fucking 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, basically.
Basically.
Just 6 weeks later.
So long.
6 weeks later. February 6th, 1973. The unidentified body of a male estimated age of 17 to 25 years old was found in Wilmington, just along the Terminal Island Freeway, California 103. This victim also showed signs of ligature strangulation and had a sock forced into his rectum.
Okay.
On April 14th, 1973, The body of a 17-year-old male named Kevin Clark Bailey was found in Huntington Beach on the side of a road. Kevin had been castrated and raped before he was murdered. Just 8 days later, on April 22nd, the body of an unidentified youth was found in Wilmington. 20-year-old Ronnie Jean Wiebe. I'm sorry, it's Wiebe. He disappeared on July 28th, 1973. His body was found 2 days later beside an on-ramp to the 405 freeway. Ronnie had welts on his ankles.
Dumping him?
Yeah. Yep. He had welts on his ankles and wrists, which suggested he had not just been bound, but suspended from something.
Oh, boy.
I can't even imagine the torture he or any of these victims endured. Like, it's so gnarly.
Well, I'm hoping that they didn't really know what was going on.
You
If they were drugged or...
You would hope.
I don't know. I really hope that they didn't suffer at all because these sound horrific.
Mm-hmm. On December 29th, 1973, a body was found in the San Bernardino Mountains. The victim was 23-year-old art student Vincent Cruz Mestas. One of his own socks was forced into his rectum, and his hands were actually missing.
Oh, he chopped them off?
And they were never found.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, ugh.
So many thoughts.
Yeah. Ugh. During the next year, 5 more victims were found within close proximity to major roads in Southern California. 3 of the 5 were definitely linked to the same killer.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Eugene Little, 20 years old, and James Dale Reeves, 19 years old, were each found with foreign objects inserted in their bodies alongside a freeway. Roger Edward Dickerson, an 18-year-old Marine, was found with bite marks on his body. So he's not doing exactly the same.
Were they taking molds of the bite marks? Like impressions?
No, I don't know.
I don't even know if that was a thing back then.
I have no
bite
idea.
mark impressions.
Yeah. I don't know. So now we're up to 1975. And already Randy had been murdering for several years. And there's still no end in sight. Like, it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
January 3rd of 1975, 17-year-old John Laris was last seen in Long Beach as he was getting on a bus. I don't know what kind of bus. I'm assuming it was a city bus, maybe.
Probably.
Randy kidnapped and strangled him to death. His body was found the next day at Sunset Beach. He had a foreign object inserted in his rectum. There were drag marks on the beach. And I have to say, sand is a hell of a thing. Because the drag marks were in such a way that it made investigators think that there had to be 2 people carrying John's body into the surf.
Oh. Because there were 2 footprints.
I'm guessing, and maybe like a hand,
2 sets. Or...
Maybe a hand was dragging or something from the body. I don't know. Or maybe like, depending on how they were holding him.
Right.
Maybe his butt was dragging on the ground. I have no idea, but it makes you think about that moving car situation, pushing a body out of a moving car.
Right.
That would be very fucking hard to do.
While driving.
Yeah, how the fuck are you going to open the door?
Yeah.
And all that. Like, I don't.
Too many questions. Yeah.
In cars back then, the doors were heavy as shit, too.
Yeah, everything was steel.
Yep. So, yeah. On the 17th, exactly 2 weeks later, a body was found dumped in a parking lot of a hotel near PCH and Loynes Drive in Long Beach.
Did he still have his boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This body was identified as 21-year-old Craig Janitis. He had been strangled with a thin string, like a shoelace, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
By this point, there were already 14 victims linked to the same killer. That's a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
Their bodies were dumped in 4 different counties. And every one of these victims had similar physical characteristics, and they were all Caucasian males.
Right.
It was at this point in time that investigators from different jurisdictions decided it was time to come together to work on this case.
Well, that's smart. That's good. I'm glad that they
Yes.
came together finally.
Yes. We don't want to work with them. No, they needed to.
Yeah.
January 24th, 1975, all of these investigators met up in Orange County to devise a plan to hunt this killer down and apprehend him.
Mm.
They even had an FBI profile of the killer.
Smart.
Now, remember back then, FBI profiling was pretty fucking new.
Yeah, it wasn't something that was done a lot.
Yeah.
They were just trying to figure out mental wellness,
Right.
in how people do things, MOs, and
Mm-hmm.
who could be the suspects. And
Right.
yeah, profiling is very interesting and intricate, and I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like, it's pretty fucking cool.
it's pretty neat how you can come up with killers' profiles from
just from what they do,
from the crime scene.
Yeah,
or the body, and yeah.
So the killer was described as a methodical, organized lust killer of above average intelligence who exhibited an indifference to the interests and welfare of society.
Okay.
That's it. That's not much of a profile to me. That's where I go,
well, yeah, I know. But it was something
but
to go
sometimes
on.
it's like it's a white male who's married and has kids or is divorced and has kids and lives at home with mommy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they've literally done stuff like that, and sure enough, the fucker did all of those things.
Yeah.
What? Blown mind. Wow. Anyway. Okay. Now, thankfully, some of the investigators believed that it was the work of more than one killer.
Okay.
They thought that maybe one or more of the killers had a military background based on some strange evidence they found. And that evidence was that 2 victims had residue of paper tissue on their nostrils, which is a thing they do in the military to prevent body fluids from purging after death.
Right.
They also think this may be the reason for the socks in the rectums.
Oh, right.
Complete sense. I get it.
Yeah, they didn't want anything coming out of the bodies when they died.
Yeah, they have to move these bodies. They don't want it in the car.
Okay, then.
So unfortunately, they had no suspects at this point.
Right.
Just over 2 months later, it was late in the day. Keith Crotwell and Kent May were hanging out in a parking lot in Long Beach, just being teenagers. It's what we all used to do back in the day. Randy Kraft lured the 2 boys into his very noticeable Ford Mustang.
Oh.
He gave the boys Valium and beer as he continued to drive around Seal Beach and Belmont Shore in a random sort of way. Just out for a drive. No big deal.
Yeah.
Randy did drive back to the same parking lot once the boys were both passed out. he leaned across to the passenger door, opened it, and pushed Kent May out in a parking lot, though, at a standstill.
Right. He
Like,
was
he
alone.
stopped
Like
the
he
vehicle.
was, yeah.
Yes. He pushed the one boy out, Kent May, out. He then sped off. But here's where things get kind of wild.
Oh boy.
A couple of Keith and Kent's friends were hanging out in the parking lot and saw this whole fucking thing happen.
Oh my.
They noticed the distinctive black and white Ford Mustang because, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Seriously. And they noticed the car speeding off with their friend Keith still inside, slumped against the driver's shoulder.
Oh.
And Kent May was unharmed, with exception to probably like hitting the asphalt, but like nothing else happened to him, thankfully. And sadly, he got lucky. Like his friend did not. This is, yeah. Keith's skull. His skull was found on a jetty close to the Long Beach Marina on May 8th, 1975. The rest of his body wouldn't be found until 6 months later.
Oh, wow.
When Keith's friends heard this news, they immediately took action. It's like, I'm so fucking proud of these kids.
Yeah, because they went forward and gave the tips of what happened that night.
Not just that. Not just that. They thought the suspect was a regular at a gay bar in Belmont Shore.
Oh.
They knew what kind of car he drove.
Mm-hmm.
That was their neighborhood. So they did what any smart person would do, and they searched their neighborhood for the car.
Yeah.
They found the fucking car less than a mile from their home.
Wow.
They wrote down the license plate number and gave it to the police and told them what happened.
Good on them.
The car was registered to Randy Kraft. Now, you may think this is the end of this story.
It is not.
And I really fucking wish it was. But
because that was a lot.
It is, however, all we're going to cover for today. Sorry to leave you on that fucking cliffhanger, but yeah, you're just going to have to tune in next week to hear part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. Whoo-wee, y'all. Okay, sources, real quick, before we go on. Murderpedia and all those other guys. Timesuck Podcast, if you guys don't listen to Timesuck. Fucking Dan. Okay, anyway, he's fucking hysterical. And of course, Wikipedia, because like, there's so many sources linked in there. You could just click on all of them.
Right. It's good to,
it's incredible.
Get through there. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for this week. Where'd you get that? Kristen's got a skull, y'all.
This is by Red Fox.
Aww. Do you know what sound a red fox makes when it's alerting to let their other foxes know somebody's coming?
Isn't it cute sounding?
No, it's fucking scary and it sounds like
scary?
a Yeti.
Oh.
I thought there was a Yeti on my property because of a fucking fox.
Yeah.
I was walking back up from the mailbox and all of a sudden I heard, yo! Like really loud though. I don't want to do it because it'll scare everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look up fox alert sound and then you'll know.
Yeah. So when I went through all my stuff, I found all my things.
Oh, for little skulls. Oh my gosh. They're so cool. Oh, yeah.
I do need to unbury the one that's in my backyard.
Speaking of buried skulls. Y'all, I bet ya. Oh my God, that thing's massive.
Yeah, it's a doe.
Beautiful.
Which is what's in my backyard.
Which is what I just buried in my front yard the other night with a headlamp. And I bet you anything, some of my neighbors probably think I might be a serial killer.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a big fucking doe too.
Yeah.
Let me tell ya. Sorry, all you vegetarians out there, but
yeah, sorry, we deal with these things and we
hunt.
do eat, and
we hunt on this property, and it was the biggest doe any of us have ever seen.
Wow. Well, I keep trying to meet hunters because I got a lot of them out here. And before they used to just discard everything. And now some of them come and say, hey, you want this?
Yes, that's awesome,
So
dude.
that's why I have the one deer in my backyard.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You should ask them if they eat the organs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't go that far into
they're good
talking
for you.
with them. No, I know, but you know,
your mom would be like, no. What? Deer are freaking vegetarians too.
I did have some deer sausage.
Yum.
Before we went on break. One of the teachers, he made it.
Nice.
And then it was cooked up at our little potluck thingy.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Well,
but is that all you got?
That's all I got, dude. I'm done.
Till next time.
Until next time. Ta-ta.
For now.
Thanks for listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts. If you love our podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. This helps us more than you know. If you really love us and want to support us, go to our website at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com. From there, you can join our Patreon, shop our merch, and find us on social media.